LitBuzz today. Tell us, like, how does it feel to be in the room with the fans?
At this point, I'm a little tired.
You're right.
Yeah, but no, it's been, I think back to, gosh, we've been apart for so long. It's wonderful to be like with bookish friends, with readers, fellow authors, good friends that I haven't had a chance to see in a while. So it's nice to be able to have some FaceTime instead of just like in person versus Zoom, or, you know, like hugs are good.
No,
And collaborators too.
Yes.
Because Amor actually flew off the shelf. Like people were looking for it and it was gone.
You know, we were pleasantly, like, lovely surprised. We thought, boy, there's going to be 4 of us here, and the other 3 sent book plates. So we thought, well, let's get some copies. We'll each have 5, see how they go, and they sold really quickly, and then other people like brought their copies. So it's a blessing to see the way the book Amor actually has been embraced. It's been really nice.
And I thought that was so lovely that you had the book plates for the authors that weren't here. Mm-hmm. And then you directed, like, you can find, you know, me over here and her over here. Like, you told us where to go for the other authors, and that was so sweet. Because I got lucky, I bought one here today.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, so I got lucky that I got one.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
But we had, like, yesterday, Alexis and I, you know, sold our 5, and then I think by the end of the day, Adriana maybe had 1 more, Mia had a couple more. So they went really quickly.
Based on like your history of books, you have a few series, and they all kind of like reflect a different part of your heritage. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, you have family who is from the Key West, grew up in the Key West.
I grew up. So my papi was in the Navy, and he was stationed in Key West like right before my 7th grade year. So junior high, high school, I lived in Key West, and then my early years of college, mommy and papi were still there. And then ultimately they retired and moved up north. But so my Key West series, it has been like the very first book I wrote that will never see the light of day for a lot of reasons, but it was my first, you know, like I finished it, so I knew I could do it, was set in Key West. So I knew that I always wanted to take readers like home with me for, you know, to my childhood home. And so that's the Keys to Love series. But the new series is the Mariachi Queens of Mariachi series, and it's set in San Antonio. My papi's Mexican American from San Antonio. So it's kind of like book 1, West Side Love Story, is like my love story, my homage to the city where papi grew up, where a lot of whenever we have family reunions on that side, it's in or around usually like the San Antonio area. Okay. So I knew I wanted to set my Queens of Mariachi series there and kind of take readers home there as well.
How many books do you expect in the series?
Right now it's 2. Like my contract is for 2. I have ideas for like a book 3 with the twins, with Sabrina and Violeta. So we'll see if that happens. But I also, you know, like we have lots of ideas. So the book, the next book that I might write or that I'm thinking about, if it's not for the sisters, then it's one that will take place partially in New York, partially in Puerto Rico, like on the island.
So I don't know you, but growing up in Puerto Rico, West Side Story was the Romeo and Juliet of our culture, right? Mm-hmm. So how did that serve as an inspiration for this book?
Well, I started out for the story, I knew I wanted to write about a group of mariachis. Sabrina Sol, who also writes as Annette Chavez Macias, years ago she sent me a link. Like she texted me and she's like, "Hey Pris, I saw this online and I thought of you." And it was a link to an interview for an all-female mariachi band out in California. And it was like a 2.5-minute interview, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to write I need to write like stories. I know these girls, like they're in my head, but I wanted it set in San Antonio. And so just as part of the like, well, what if this, like, what could the situation be? And I knew that the idea for the mariachi competition came up, but still I wanted to make it more personal. So I was like, what if one of the other bands, because yes, all the bands want to win, but what if it's personal? And one of the other bands, like there's like a family feud or there's like bad blood. And as soon as I had that idea, I was like, oh my gosh, like Romeo and Juliet and feuding families. And then as I started researching more about the gentrification issues in San Antonio, I knew I wanted the girls to kind of grow up where papi's like southwest side of San Antonio, like off of Zarzamora and whatever.
Right?
So, right? And so So I thought might want the girls to be in that area, and then as I started studying about gentrification, like on the east side, like the Pearl Brewery District, where I mentioned in the book, that's kind of been built up already, but it's creeping over to the west side.
Okay.
And so I thought, so it's perfect if I have the girls on the west side.
Absolutely.
And then I just decided, you know what, I'm going to lean into musicals that are, you know, like Broadway shows that are retellings of Shakespeare. So that's how I like went into, and I thought, West Side Story, you know, fits because that the girls are going to be living like on the West Side, and so I leaned into that, and then that's how book 2 is Taming of the Shrew. So it's Kiss Me Catalina, like Kiss Me Kate.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So,
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Vacation with your girls, and then you're also going to go on a vacation another time with one of your
my
male
heroes.
lover, your heroes.
Ooh, okay.
So, who would you go on vacation with?
Oh my gosh. It's always hard to pick the girls, like if someone says, who's your favorite heroine? Because I feel like they're either like my younger sisters or younger, you know, good friends because they are much younger than I am, right? And I like them all. Oh my gosh. And I think there are different ones. So probably either the Fernandez sisters, right? Because Lily and Yasmin would be really fun, and Rosa would make sure that we didn't get into trouble, right?
Sure.
All right.
We always need that
Yeah,
one.
that's Rosa. And if so, or if they couldn't, then probably I like the Capuleta sisters. Catalina would make sure we have a good time. Again, Violeta and Sabrina, they're all, you know, they're all so different, but I think we would have a really good time. Yeah, Yasmin's the older one, you know, and I feel like I'm rambling, but I'm like, oh my gosh,
go with
how
you.
do I-
From what book they're all from? So that
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So the Fernandez sisters are from my Match to Perfection series, and so that's his perfect partner and her perfect affair and their perfect melody. And so it's Yasmin, Rosa, and Lili, or let's go with the Capuleta sisters, and gosh, there's 9 of them. So let me see if I can remember them all. But the 4, the adults, yeah. So the adults of them, because some of them are minors, so
Sure.
maybe they shouldn't come with us. But that is Mariana and Catalina and Blanca and Violeta and Sabrina. And then the younger ones, ay Dios mío.
No,
I'm
no
gonna,
pressure.
yeah.
You already said who you wanted to
You're
go
going
on
with the
vacation
grown-ups.
with.
Stop taking the kids. It's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so which one is your swoon-worthy
Yeah, your
take out
Oh my
on
gosh.
vacation
Okay.
lover?
This is really hard because with the girls it's hard for me to pick one, but I will say with the guys I've already said, like, look, Diego and Luis are mine, but I can set you up with any of the other ones because they're all good guys if you would like.
Hey.
But I will say Patricio, I have something for a guy like who can play guitar. So I will say like
yes.
Patricio and Diego have really stolen my heart, but Luis and Diego's in Their Perfect Melody. Patricio is in Kiss Me Catalina. And there is a scene, there are scenes in both where the guys serenade, like Diego serenades Lili and Patricio sings with Catalina, and I always swooned. I swooned when I was writing them, and I still, yeah. But Luis in Island Affair is a really, really special guy.
Ooh, a beach guy.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
So with the Keys to Love series, I do have an idea. There are 3 siblings that were not paired up when the series started. So I have Luis Navarro in Island Affair, and then the sister Ana Maria is Anchored Hearts, and I do have a book in mind for Enrique, the last brother, and I can hear and see Mami Navarro and like waving a chancla at me, like you better get back to him because but then I sold the contract for the Queens of Mariachi series, so it really just depends on what I'm contracted to, or if I'm in between So if I don't have a contract for Enrique, will I write that on my own and put it out? Mainly because, especially that one, The Keys to Love, I envisioned it as all 3. So I would like to tell his story.
Yeah.
But I really just, will the opportunity arise? That when the timing is right, I will. I jokingly say, well, right now Enrique has told me he's not ready to settle down. He's enjoying playing the field, and I'm like, okay.
So in the meantime, everybody who's dying to know what happens to Enrique knows what's happening right now.
Yeah,
He's playing the field.
Yes, he's having a good
but
time.
he might have
Yes.
His one and only.
Yes, I like.
That's coming
In my mind, I
eventually.
know who his one and only is. I'm
He's just not ready
I'm
yet.
giving him some time while I'm having fun with the Capuleta sisters.
I love that. I love.
Your covers are gorgeous.
Ay, gracias. Thank
They
you.
have all the colors that I love
Uh-huh.
and that I want to own. What is your inspiration for them? They're also so different. You know,
Yeah.
you really like concentrate on the message you're trying to give.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your process for that.
Well, as a traditional, you know, like because I'm not indie, so all of mine have been like with the publisher.
Okay.
And I will say, so all of them have an art department. They like Montlake for the Queens of Mariachi, Kensington for the for the Keys to Love series and my Match to Perfection series. Ultimately, the art department is, you know, that works on them, but they all have like an art sheet. So I have like sent cover ideas, like covers that I like, colors that I like, concepts that I like, description of the characters, information about the scenes, and then I've been blessed in the sense that both of the publishers will like have allowed, like they've sent, okay, here's some concepts that we're thinking of, what are, you know, and allowed me to give feedback.
Awesome.
So like I will say with Island Affair, with Anchored Hearts, the concepts that I sent them were totally different that they wound up with, but it was good with the, you know, with the vibe. I was nervous about not having a couple on the cover, but the two little animals, like everybody seems to like the hummingbirds. Everybody likes the flamingos, so there's a couple on there, and they do a really good job of capturing like the romantic island vibe.
They do.
And so, and then with the Queens of Mariachi, Montlake from the very beginning said, I think like in keeping, like in honor of the Capuleta sisters and the, you know, the vibe in both of them are just like, you know, women who are pushing the envelope and making a name for themselves and you know, pushing to make their place. And so they came back and they said they really wanted to find a Latina artist, illustrator to do them, and so that is Lucia Picerno. She's like at badassfemme_ on Instagram. And so we went with her, and I gave them ideas like what I want, like with Patricio and Catalina. I want, you know, they're on stage, so they're singing together, and they sent me again like probably like 6 different cover concepts, and I was able to give feedback and let them know kind of like which ones I liked, and then ultimately though, you know, like I would say like they made the final decision, but we were able to, you know, I was in the room able to like give feedback and what I liked, and even things like they would send the sketch and, well, yeah, but he needs to have this, or like, you know, this chin. So they listened to a lot of details, and yeah,
a good collaborative relationship.
Yes, and I know that not every author with a traditional publisher has that. So it's been a blessing that I've been able to have, you know, give that kind of feedback and know that they're listening to my opinion. But ultimately, the art departments and the artists that they've chosen have done a beautiful job. So I'm really thankful.
Yeah, no, I can see it. It's like the bold, the bright, the taking up space for your West Side Love Story series. And then there's the like laid back, breezy, but a little bit of chaos when you for the Island series.
Yeah,
where, like with the color max, you really see like the, you know, what these characters are going through.
Kensington's art department did a really good job, you know, working with what I wanted, you know, what the vibe I wanted to give.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
This is so great.
I would have you here for 2 more hours, but I know that you need fries.
Yes.
And so do we.
Yes. So thank you so much for the
you for
invitation.
speaking with us. It was so
I'm
sweet.
sure it's been fun.
Anytime you're in the area, please let me know.
Oh, sure. Where are you?
I'm here. And I'm happy to like do follow-up chats with you.
Okay, sure.